Meet Angela Martin. Angela has unfortunately gotten into a bad car accident. A car went headfirst into her lane and she had to swerve off the road. When this happened, she unfortunately had a head-on collision into a tree. Angela was immediately knocked unconscious into a coma. A coma is a deep state of unconsciousness in which an individual cannot react to their surroundings. This means that they cannot react to any stimulation such as pain. Comas can occur from head trauma or even an illness. Generally, comas last 2 to 4 weeks, and usually people come out of them about 87% of the time. But unfortunately, in Angela's case, she had been in a coma for over 10 years. Angela had a promising life ahead of her. She had a medical degree and was planning on doing medical missionaries to countries overseas that really needed the medical attention. Sadly, these dreams have been crushed by her falling into this coma. Even though Angela has been fighting this coma for over a decade, her family has to decide to either pull the plug and let Angela pass away, or let her keep fighting her coma and hope she comes out of it eventually.
The question for our patient Angela Martin is whether we should take her off life support. After thinking it through and listing all the possible outcomes, we have decided to take her off life support. To further back up our decision, we did some research on the percentage of people who wake up from comas. On the Glasgow coma scale, it is said that a person who scores a 3 to 4 within the first 24-hour period are most likely to eventually die and not wake up, or stay in a vegetative state. It is also said that those who score 11 to 15 within the first 24-hour period will make a gradual recovery. Even if she scored an 11 to 15, there is still a 13% chance she will not recover and slowly die. Angela's recovery is not very likely since she has been on life support for 10 plus years now. There are many pros and many cons of taking Angela off life support. First, the pros. Some pros are they will eliminate financial stress on the family and give them peace knowing Angela is in a better place now. Another pro is that it shortens the dying process and alleviates the pain and discomfort Angela was feeling. Another pro is that it may set an example and show other people that sometimes things just aren't meant to be. No matter how long or hard you try, some things aren't meant to happen, and God sees the plan in the end. Another pro is that the death of Angela might have triggered some feelings in close friends or family members, but it might have touched their hearts, causing them to donate money to a cause to potentially find a cure or help discover a way of waking someone up from a coma. Some of the negative outcomes of taking Angela off life support are that it could set a negative example as Christians. It might show that we have no faith in God or just don't trust Him. It could also say that the family has had no hope or any more faith or trust left. It could also set a bad example for other families out there struggling with the same situation. Another negative outcome is that some people in her family could say it was morally wrong and not a good decision to take her off life support. They could say they were not the only ones being affected by Angela's death because her friends and other relatives were too. This could cause arguments and tension in the family, which will lead to separation in the time where they need each other the most. Angela's death will also cause extreme sadness and grief and sorrow. To others, Angela may have been a role model, and her death might have caused them severe depression, which lets them fall into the temptation of drugs and alcohol. One more negative outcome is that what if by some chance, shortly after they took her off life support, scientists somehow found a cure to wake someone up from a coma. I'm waiting in my weakness, he may be deep in it. Happy lying through my teeth to say I don't resent it.
The problem is there's a girl named Angela and her family's asking us whether or not we should let her stay on life support or pull the plug. According to my researchers and me, we decided to take Angela off life support. We figured out that there was more good outcomes for her family and her own self. One reason why we chose to take her off it is because Angela will be out of pain. This also means her family will not be in as much pain seeing her the shape she was while on life support. The second reason we decided to take her off is because the dying process of Angela will be a lot shorter. Time should be spent discussing, understanding, and accommodating cultural and religious beliefs. A study showed an increase in numbers of deaths in critical care that had the option to withhold or withdraw life support, from 50% in 1987 to 1988 to over 90% in 1992 to 1993. This proves how many people in today's world are no longer using life support, either because the family is sick of seeing them in pain or just because of the economy. We decided this because she has been in a coma for quite some time and has no sign of returning anytime soon. When you take someone off life support treatments that are no longer desired or indicated and that do not provide comfort to the patient, in a survey taken, most people in critical care, on about 5%, can actually speak with the doctors at the time. This fact shows the family options, but the physicians have a poor understanding for patients. Physicians don't really talk to their patients, they only create their thoughts because of the low chance of them speaking to them. However, that also means that the family will have to overcome the tremendous death of their daughter. Also, they will not have to keep paying for life support. But there are people in this world that think life support is very wrong and against God as well. In a survey of critical care physicians, 85% of respondents had withheld or withdrawn life support in the preceding year. Our second problem is how the family will react once we have told them the decision we have made. Of course, we know the family will be very sad. And we also know that we are probably making the biggest decision of their life for them. This decision will change their life forever. There is no need for drugs, antibiotics, nutrition, or most other critical care treatments for the family after they have decided what to do with the patient. If this so happens, this could cause very tremendous problems within the family and could even put them into death. When we pull the cord, it will haunt the family forever. That the possibility of Angela returning to her normal self, both all the research we have done, is definitely the best option. Angela will be in a better place with no pain, and our researchers definitely hope that her family will return to their normal lives and move on. For a fact, we know it will never leave their minds, but it will not haunt them as much as it used to as time goes along. There's another survey that says 79% of patients would want their family to decide then to take them off life support than have the physicians decide for them. The physicians say one way to decide what to do is take a consensus of the family and go from there. They then say that you should check the health of the patient because if he has absolutely terrible health, you should take him off life support and end his misery. People say that the physicians need to know everything and explain everything to the family before they make the decision to you. And make sure you know what's going on with the patient and his condition. We all know how hard this will be for Angela's family, seeing her pass away and never being able to see her ever again, but they must move on and do what's best for them. They also must do what we have suggested them in pulling the cord.
Our group did the Bioethics Project on comas. In the situation of our case study, there was a college student. Her name was Angela Martin, and she attended Stanford University. On her drive home from Stanford to Orange County, California, she was in a severe car accident. As the car swerved into her lane, she proceeded to drive out of the way, but ended up driving off the freeway. As her car flew off the freeway, she collided headfirst into a tree. This put her in a dangerous situation, leading to a coma that started back in 1996. In order to enter this coma, she would have to encounter severe head trauma. To this day, she is still in a coma. Our group's decision was to let her off life support she has been on for so many years. Often, people who are in comas for so long do not return. Although there is a slight chance of return after so many years, it will most likely not occur. Studies show that the comas usually only last for a few weeks, so after more than 10 years, Angela will probably not return. Also, in some moral people's religions become a factor. Most religions have a heaven or afterlife they try to reach upon death. If the family of this patient or the patient herself has certain religion they follow, the life support they are using for Angela could be holding her back from her next life. This moral evidence that the life support may be holding the patient back from her afterlife shows that the life support should probably be taken off. There are many additional reasons for why we chose that the patient be taken off life support. We think that the money wasted so far and the more money that they might waste will outweigh the probability that she survives. The likelihood of her survival is very low, and paying money just for a small chance that she will return is not worth it.
If the parents are okay with it, our decision to let her off life support is the final one. Another reason why we chose this decision is because if we were in this situation, we would choose the same. If a loved one in my family was in a coma, I would think, after more than 10 years, there's not much hope. Seeing this in this situation, we realize how sad it must be. After analyzing the pros and cons of this situation, we think our decision is very wise. Even if she did return, Angela would most likely not recover too well or have bad health. With more than 10 years in a coma, she would not be the same. She would probably be weaker or not the same as you remember. 10 plus years on life support could change her health, since she had only been fed through a feeding tube. Although it feels wrong to cut someone's life support off, we believe that it is best for you, the parents, Angela, and the doctors if you cut the life support. The doctor's time and effort will be saved if you cut the life support. Your money will be saved, and also the heartbreak of her not coming back. Angela also could, at this very moment, be in extreme pain, or you could be holding her back from her next life. This is why our group chose to stop her life support.